Hi, this is Mrs. Robertson, and today in Math 7 we're going to learn how to add and subtract like fractions that contain positive and negative numbers. So I would like for you to go to page 283. And on page 283, this is lesson 3 from chapter 4. Let's look at our real world link. Sean surveyed 10 classmates to find which type of tennis shoe they like to wear. 5 cross trainer, 3 running, and 2 high top. What fraction of students like to wear cross trainers? Well, we have 5 out of our total. Well, the total number interviewed, when you add those together, is 10. That's your denominator. What fraction of students like to wear high tops? 2 out of 10. What fraction of students like to wear either cross trainers or high tops? Here we have our fraction that we will be adding. 5/10 plus 2/10 equals 7/10. So 7/10 of the students like to wear either cross trainers or high tops. Explain how to find 3/10 plus 2/10. Then find the sum. Well, since the denominators are the same, all you do is add the numerators. So let's write this down. Make sure you are writing everything down. If I am going too fast, you can go back and watch this video and put it on pause to make sure you have plenty of time to get everything that's in the notes. So since the denominators are the same, you add the numerators. So in this problem, 3/10 plus 2/10 equals 5/10. And when you simplify 5/10, you will have 1/2. Okay, now let's turn to page 284. On page 284, our key concept is add and subtract like fractions. To add or subtract like fractions, add or subtract the numerators and write the result over the denominator. 5/10 plus 2/10 equals 7/10. 11/12 minus 4/12 is 7/12. Now, you're going to see this algebra component in your Math 7 books, and I want you to start looking at it. This says the same thing as this, but instead of numbers, they use variables. Now notice how when they do this, the variable c is on the bottom. AC plus BC equals A plus B over C. Now they could have had an x on the bottom, but the variable on the bottom, the denominator, has to be the same in order for this to be true. And here we have it again. AC minus BC equals A minus B over C. Now, fractions that have the same denominator are called like fractions. All right, so now let's look at the vertical number line here. It says write in simplest form. Okay, 5/9 plus 2/9 is 7/9. That is simplified. I do want you to know how to read a vertical number line. You always start at 0. So the first fraction is 5/9. Starting at 0, you go up to 5/9, then go up 2 more 9s, and you are located on the 7/9. Now we're going to add negative numbers into this situation. It says negative fractions over here. Remember, 1/2 equals negative 1 over 2, which equals 1 over negative 2. Oh, excuse me. There's a negative sign. See, it just blends right in. There's a negative sign right there, but it would look like it was part of the fraction bar. Typically, the form negative 1 over 2 is used when performing computations. So normally when they have a negative sign out in the front, you put it with the numerator, but you can also do it with denominator. Either one of these. Let me just rewrite this again. Negative 1/2 is the same thing as negative 1 over 2 or 1 over negative 2. All right, now let's look at what we have here. In example 2, negative 3/5 plus negative 1/5. So we follow our integer rules of adding. When the signs are alike, add and keep the sign. So we're going to add the numbers. 3/5 plus 1/5 is 4/5, and we keep the sign, negative 4/5. All right. Let's look at A, B, C, and D. I would like for you to do these problems, and then we'll go over the answers. All right, for this problem, you'll have 3 over 3, which equals 1. In letter B, you have negative 3 plus a positive 1, so that will equal negative 2/7. Think of this as the negative 3 over 7. So when the sign is in front of it like that. In letter C, negative plus negative will be negative 4/5, and negative 1/4 plus 1/4 gives you the answer 0. Now let's go to page 285. Example 3 on page 285. Sophia ate 3/5 of a cheese pizza, Jack ate 1/5 of a cheese pizza, and 2/5 of a pepperoni pizza. How much pizza did Sophia and Jack eat together? Well, here we have 3/5 plus 1/5 plus 2/5. You can only add 2 at a time. They decided to do 3/5 plus 2/5 is 5/5 plus 1/5 gives you 6/5. They just combine it so 5/5 is 1 and 1 plus 1/5 is 1 and 1/5. Or you also know that 6/5 is an improper fraction, and that equals 1 and 1/5. All right, let's look at letter E. Eduardo used fabric to make 3 costumes. He used 1/4 of a yard for the first, 2/4 for the second, and 3/4 for the third. How much fabric did Eduardo use altogether? All right, so here we have 2/4 plus 1/4. You could have 1/4 plus 2/4. Since it's all addition, the commutative property states it doesn't matter the order in which you do them. 2/4 plus 1/4 is 3/4, and 3/4 plus 3/4 is 6/4. An improper fraction. How many 4s are in a 6? 1. How many are left over? 2. And now we will simplify it to 1 and 1/2 yards. Are there any questions? All right, now we're going to go on to number 4, example 4. Now, we are going into the integer rules. When you subtract integers, remember to add the opposite. So, you do not do anything to the first fraction. You just change the subtraction sign to an addition sign. And what's the opposite of 3/8? Negative 3/8. So now you have negative 5/8 plus negative 3/8. If you write this down yourself, it'll help your brain to think about what's going on here. So negative 5/8 plus 3/8 equals negative 8/8. Okay, and we all know that negative 8/8 will be a negative 1, which is what they have here. All right, let's do problem number 5. 5/8 minus 7/8. Add the opposite and we subtract. Our denominator will stay the same. 5 plus negative 7 is negative 2/8. Negative 2/8 will simplify to negative 1/4. Once again, keep your negative sign in the numerator, unlike the way that the book does it. Sometimes it looks like it runs right into the fraction bar. So I like the way where you just do it, then put the negative sign with the numerator. Here's an example of what it looks like with a number line. So you start at 0, 5/8. You go to positive 5/8. Then you go left 7/8, and you end up on negative 2/8. All right, let's do F, G, and H. I will wait for you to do them, and then we'll go over how to do the problems here. All right, I figure most of you have these finished. So on this problem, 5/9 plus 2/9 is 3/9. I hope you all remembered to simplify it. 3 divides 3 once, and 3 divides 9 3 times. It simplifies to 1/3. Okay, the next problem. Oh, integers, we're going to add the opposite. Negative 5/9 plus negative 2/9 is negative 7/9. That will not simplify. Add the opposite. Negative 11/12 plus 5/12. The signs are different. Subtract and keep the sign of the largest number part, or absolute value. That'll be a negative. And 11 minus 5 is 6. Negative 6/12. That simplifies to negative 1/2. All right, now let's go to page 286. On page 286, choose an operation. You can add or subtract like fractions to solve real problems. Here we go. About 6/100 of the population of the United States lives in Florida. Another 4/100 lives in Ohio. About what fraction more of the United States population lives in Florida than in Ohio? Well, 6/100 minus 4/100 is 2/100. Which simplifies to 1/50. About 1/50 more of the United States population lives in Florida than in Ohio. Okay, let's stop and reflect. In example 6, what word or words indicate that you should subtract to solve the problem? Write your answer below. Well, it's right here. What fraction more? Those are the words that would indicate that you are to subtract. What fraction more answers this question? Now let's do the guided practice. Okay, some of these are very easy, but be careful. 3/5 plus 1/5 is 4/5. Will it simplify? No. Circle your final answer. 2/7 plus 1/7 is 3/7. Will it simplify? No. Circle your answer. 5/8 plus 1/8 is 6/8. And 6/8 plus 3/8, 9/8. That is an improper fraction. How many 8s are in a 9? 1. How many's left over? 1, and it goes on top of the denominator 8. Circle your answer. All right. Subtracting. Add the opposite. Negative 4/5 plus 1/5. The signs are different. Subtract. 4 minus 1 is 3 fifths. 4 fifths is negative. It's the largest absolute value, so we keep the sign, which is negative. Let's go to number 5. Add the opposite. 5/14 plus 1/14, 6/14. Now we simplify it. What will divide a 6 and a 14? That's right, 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 3/7 is our final answer. 2/7 plus negative 6/7. That will give us a negative 4/7. Number 7. Of the 50 states in the United States, 14 have an Atlantic Ocean coastline and 5 have a Pacific Ocean coastline. What fraction of the United States have either an Atlantic Ocean or Pacific Ocean coastline? Well, we add the 14 and the 5 together. That gives you 19 over the total number of states, 50. So the fraction is 19/50. That will not simplify. What is the simple rule for adding and subtracting like fractions? Well, you add or subtract the numerators and write the result as a common denominator. Write the result on a common denominator. Okay. Now, let's go to what your homework assignment will be today. What I would like for you to do on page 287, here we go, do all of the problems on page 287. Turn the page. On page 288, I would like for you to do all. And when you do the higher order thinking problems, just be careful. I think these are all reasonable problems. Number 11, select 2 like fractions with the difference of a third. There are many answers that you could have for that. That's not too challenging. Number 12, simplify the following expressions. On that problem, what they are wanting you to do is just to give an answer. What are you going to get for the answer here? If this continues, what would your answer be? Number 13, when it says justify your answer with an example, just give an example which would support your choice in the answer you choose. Problem 14, explain how you could use mental math. Once again, write an explanation. I would like for you to work on using capital letters and correct punctuation in this problem. Number 15, perimeter means you add all the sides. So the window is a rectangle. Make sure you add 4 sides. All right, on this problem. 4 sides on a rectangle. So do all of them on page 288. Then on page 289, I would like for you to do, here it is, do all on page 289. As I look at the problems, these are all, they're very easy problems. They're not that hard. So there you go. I will see you on Tuesday of next week. Have a good day. Bye-bye.